Hey, Steve Stine here. Thank you so much for joining me. Today what I want to do is I want to show you how to approach an altered chord, we call it. A chord that has been changed from what it's supposed to be to something new. And we're going to be using what we call the harmonic minor as our example. So if this video winds up helping you, please do me a favor, subscribe to the channel and share the video with somebody. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so in this case, what we're doing is we're looking at a chord progression in E minor. So I'm playing E minor, D major, C major, and then the next chord, which is B major. Now, I don't want to get real far into theory here in case this isn't something that you're really into, but if I'm in the key of E minor, I'm really in the key of G major. They're the same key. They use the same notes and the same chords. The emphasis changes. There's certain elements that will change in your approach, but fundamentally the notes and the chords are the same. So in the key of G major, you get a B minor chord. You don't get a B major chord, you get a B minor chord. Now the notes of a B minor would be B, D, and F sharp. So when we play the E minor scale here, we can see we have a D. So over the E minor chord, that works great. All of those notes would work just fine. Over the D chord, all those notes are going to work just fine. Over the C chord, those notes are going to work just fine. And again, you might just know pentatonic, or you might know your E minor in a different position and all that sort of thing, which is great. That's a whole other lesson, learning all of that stuff. But here's the deal. When you get to the B major chord, the B major uses B, D sharp, and then F sharp. So it's the D sharp that we have a problem with. So if we think about it, we're going to alter our scale by adding the note D sharp in. And yes, it's normally referred to as E flat. But if we're talking about a B major chord, we're calling it D sharp. So what's going to happen here is, when I'm playing over my chord progression, I don't want you to make this overly complicating, okay? Just think of it as E minor. You're just soloing in E minor. But when it gets to the B major chord, you've got to switch from using the D note to the D sharp note to make it sound effective. Now, if you think about it, if I just did something like this. Now, right there, this note is D sharp. So I'm just using these notes but when it gets to that B major chord, I'm going to play, instead of playing that note right there, which is D, I'm going to play D sharp, which is also right here. I could play it in any position, just as long as I play that D sharp instead. And you'll notice that when I do that, it sounds very much like the, Yngwie Malmsteen, Ritchie Blackmore kind of thing. Now, again, I'm not going to go off into a big dissertation about harmonic minor, although it's a really wonderful scale. I don't spend a lot of time playing in it. For all the styles of music that I play and things like that, I just don't use it that often. So that's why today what I'm trying to show you is how to approach a chord that doesn't fit logically, which we're going to call an altered chord. Okay, how we're approaching changing our scale to accommodate that particular chord. So in this case, all the notes of E minor are fine over this entire chord progression, except when we get to the B major chord, we need to add the note D sharp, which means we want to remove the note D temporarily while we are on that chord. Okay, so if you think about it, as I'm hearing this chord progression, here it is. And then I'm going to go back into my normal E minor. So just for that brief moment in time, I'm going to stop playing the D, and I'm going to play D sharp instead. So if I play that little chord progression for you. so for just that little moment in time, because I don't have a lot of time on all these chords. Now, the first thing people always think when we talk about harmonic minor is the harmonic minor scale and Yngwie Malmsteen and shred licks and all these other things, and they're all wonderful. If you like that kind of stuff, I think that's wonderful. But in this particular chord progression, you don't have that much time. So you don't want to just play a shred harmonic minor lick every time the B chord comes up for, you know, a half a second or 1 second. You might just want to adjust that scale. You can do whatever you want, but you might just want to adjust that scale for just that moment in time to make that work. Now, it doesn't have to be harmonic minor. This is just really a lesson on any time you approach a chord that doesn't fit logically, an altered chord, something that's been changed from its normal state. For that brief moment while you're on that particular chord, adjust your scale accordingly so you can make sense with the chord that's being played. And then once you've passed that chord, you can go right back to what you were doing before. It's a great way of approaching your soloing. So what I would recommend for you is, you know, I use all kinds of different apps for this sort of thing. You can find, you know, online chord progression builders and things like that. But just build yourself playing E minor, D, C, and B, okay? And actually, I'll just end this video with just playing through my loop a couple of times so you can try it. But, you know, go find something like that and practice it yourself and see what you think of it. So here is the little loop track for you to try and practice with. E minor, D, C, and then that B chord. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you click the subscribe button so you're always notified when I have new videos. And if you need help choosing a guitar course that's perfect for you, make sure that you click the Help Me Choose link in the description.